Hey there, and thank you for listening to the Dream Center Peoria podcast. Dream Center Peoria exists to impact families living in poverty, starting with kids and youth. If you want to learn more about what we're up to at the Dream Center, you can find us online at dreamcenterpeoria.org or on social media at Dream Center Peoria. Thanks for listening.
Welcome again to the Dream Center podcast. We appreciate you listening and watching today. My name's Andy. I'm the executive director at the Dream Center. And today we are going to be doing a podcast that I've been looking forward to. As you may have heard from some of the previous podcasts, we've been really highlighting a lot of different volunteers that we have at the Dream Center. But today, we're going to do something a little different. We are going to highlight someone at the Dream Center. I've got Sherry with me. Say hi, Sherry. Make sure everything's working.
Hello.
Glad that we color coordinated. It's really good. But why don't you introduce us to our guest today?
Okay, today we have an awesome volunteer, and it's Shelby Roberts, who is awesome, and she volunteers with our Project 309 program. And Shelby, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, that type of thing?
Absolutely. Well, I'm so grateful that you guys decided to have me today. I'm so humbled and I'm so honored, especially in the midst of all that's going through right now. Again, I'm Shelby Roberts, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm originally from Michigan, and the Ann Arbor area is where I hail from. That's where I grew up. I still got my mom and dad there, so it's always really good to be able to get back to my roots and things like that. Got my brother. I have an older brother and a younger sister that are all kind of spread throughout the country, so it gives me an opportunity to do a little bit of traveling here and there. But originally growing up in Michigan, went to school at the University of Michigan, and I got to a point when I graduated from there, I said, I really want to be able to branch out of my comfort zone, do something that I'm not used to. So I ended up actually moving from the Midwest down to the South. I spent some time at some stations. I'm a reporter and an anchor. So I got my start down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. From there, I moved from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, down to Savannah, Georgia, and then from Savannah, Georgia, back up to the Midwest, right here to beautiful Central Illinois. And it has been such a wonderful experience to be able to immerse myself in the community here and really get involved. And that's really something why I felt it was so important to be a part of Project 309 and all of the fantastic work that Dream Center Peoria is doing right here in our own communities.
That's awesome. As you can tell, everyone, yes, Shelby is used to being in front of a camera. She's like, this is going to be the best interview we have ever done. But this is awesome. You're at WMBD on the TV. And so if you're watching on YouTube, you will recognize Shelby's face for sure. You will also know Eugene Daniel, who is a great friend of the Dream Center. He's done a bit of preaching for us at Mission Peoria. And so the MBD family, I'll be honest with you, over the years of the Dream Center, from day one, MBD have been that TV and radio station as well, that we know that we could pick up the phone and just say, hey, here's what we're doing, and you guys are out reporting on it. And so we appreciate that, because especially in Peoria, the Dream Center is still fairly new to all of this, the nonprofit world. I mean, we have only been going 18 years, which in nonprofit world, when you look at some amazing nonprofits that are in the area, like Peoria Rescue Ministries or Southside Mission, they've been around for many, many years. And so for us, getting the word out is really important, especially, you may have heard this, you may not have, Shelby, but because of our location, which if you're listening from outside of Peoria, we have a 8-story building that used to be the old YMCA. that is opposite to the two biggest hospitals in the area. And because of our name, Dream Center Peoria, people often think that we are a sleep apnea facility to the hospitals. And so when we can share what we do, especially through TV, there's many reasons why we do that. And one is just to try and smash that image down. So thank you for being with us today,
Absolutely.
Shelby. Before you came to Peoria, were you involved with any other type of nonprofit or charity, or is this something that when you got here was like, I just got to do something a bit different?
Well, it's really interesting. I think growing up, service was always something that was part of our family, right? It was always something you were expected as a member of the Roberts household to find some way to give back to your community. So, through high school, I was always part of, National Honor Society or some sort of community service element. So once I moved into, the next phase of my life, into a professional career, I kind of got away from that, unfortunately, with the hustle and bustle of transitions and jobs and just trying to get my foot on the ground. I wasn't as rooted as I should have been. And it was funny. I noticed once I got here, I moved to Central Illinois in 2018. And I noticed on my phone when the iPhone updated and it started tracking how many hours you were spending on your phone, that was really a wake-up call for me. I saw a number one time. I said, oh my goodness, to find out I'm coming to work, I'm going to the gym, and I'm really going to bed. And that was about all I was doing. It kind of shocked me. So that was the wake-up call I really needed to be able to say, there's so many things that are happening right here in Central Illinois. There are so many fantastic people. And then we also as a community go through our hardships. And I want to be someone that's not only just reading the news every single day and bringing that into communities, but I want to be able to be a part of the solution, not just on the end of finding out what's wrong or where we're not right. So having that realization to say, you know what, you have so many hours in a day and you're not utilizing them where you really should be, triggered me to say, what is a grouping, what is an area of service that I could really enjoy, I could have some substance with, but also kind of give back. And like you said, Andy, with our own Eugene Daniel, he had talked so highly about the work of Dream Center, and we had done stories with you guys in the past. I'm someone, I love education, really rooted in education. I think that that's one of the fundamental issues when people aren't exposed to different opportunities, that can really be an issue down the line. So I said, if there's a way that I can be a part of some of these children's lives, help educate them, be a mentor, and offer some guidance in some sort of way, instead of reporting on the end of where sometimes students can be, I can be on the front end to be able to help them get a really good start. So you all welcome me with open arms. The kids are absolutely fantastic, and to be able to see them grow and mature and just be excited about growth with Project 309 and learning, that makes it that much more worthwhile. And I get excited even just talking about it because I miss the kids, and I know that we all got to kind of work through this transition together. But as much as I'm able to offer them, they offer me so much more. And that's something I absolutely love on a regular basis.
Yeah, I remember talking to Eugene in depth once, just talking about how as a news anchor, it can sometimes get heavy that you are always the guys who are presenting majority of the time, not all the time, but majority of the time, the bad stuff of what's happening in a city. And we've talked many times just about presenting things in a positive light, even though it may be bad, and things like that, and how the weight of that could get to him sometimes. Do you often feel that even when you're in front of a camera, like you're being given something to report on, which is obviously true as to what's happening, but sometimes wanting to go, yeah, but there's so much more happening that's good in this city? I mean, do you get to a point like that?
It does. It's very difficult. I'm fortunate where on the morning show, because that's what I get to do every weekday morning. We've really tried reformatting and reframing things in a way, back to your point, Andy, beyond just the headlines, that capture people's attention off the bat. What more can we unearth? What more can we find? How are people in our community affected? Number one, they're not just numbers. They're not just, that initial report that comes out that may be happening. How are they affected? What are people that are in those communities doing in order to better the areas that they live, the areas that they care about and that they love? And then the follow-ups, because there's always more to that initial story. So that's something I know that we really focus on in our particular shift. But it can be very, very difficult, because you see the names, you see the numbers, you see the stories, and sometimes you have to do a little bit of turning the knob off so that you don't become overwhelmed, so that, we're not breaking down in tears while we're also trying to do our job. But that's not something that, in that element of my line of work, it's not something we take joy in. I know sometimes people think that there's a joy element in reporting on those pieces, and it's not. I would much rather focus on the great things that organizations and individuals like Dream Center and all the volunteers and staff are doing, highlighting those frameworks, being able to encapsulate that and spread that with other people, because that catches their attention, I think, even more so than some of the grim news that we do have to inform other people about. But yeah, it can be very, very overwhelming sometimes. So I think it brings some light when I get to be around some of the lighter and happier components of people that are doing so many great things in our community.
Yeah. Sherry is with us. Sherry Ernst, who's our volunteer coordinator at the Dream Center. Sherry, what was it like getting the call or getting the form through our website that Shelby from WMBD was wanting to get involved?
And she'll tell you if she remembers. I was like, when she emailed me the form and I got it, I'm like, are you the Shelby Roberts? Because I was like, no way. And then when I met her, her personality, she is an awesome person. And she's just that ray of sunshine. And when she goes into Project 309, those girls just surround her, because she is that positive force. She is such an awesome role model for our girls. And I know we had an opportunity, two of our young ladies from our Project 309 program got to go on the morning show with her, and it was awesome. They got to model dresses for Promise of Hope. And, Shelby knows the girls, they knew her, but it was so cool for those girls to get to go see where she works, actually be on the show. It was just amazing. It really made those girls, week and probably their month that they got to do that. It was so fun.
It really was. I love being able to see people out of their element, in their element, and to be able to see them, and Sherry also outside of Dream Center that was so much fun.
Mm-hmm. It was.
I know that we're mentioning something there that just made me think about our trade school that we have, where we're trying to teach kids a way out of poverty through the trades, and seeing someone in their element of work is so big. I remember hearing one of the trades, they took like a field trip, and the students realized that what they were doing at the Dream Center could turn into a job that would be paying $50,000-$60,000 a year. And they couldn't wrap their heads around what they were doing at the Dream Center could get them out of where they're at right now and be able to really not only make a living, but have a family. And also they could see it break some of the cycles of poverty that they've seen over the years. And I think that's crucial in what you were just talking about, Sherry, taking the girls and seeing a role model in her element, Shelby, what are some of the highlights for you? And before you answer that, let me just, for those who are listening who may not have been around the Dream Center a lot, we've talked a bit about Project 309, and what that is our after-school program. We have anywhere between 40 to 70 students that come to the Dream Center every night for after-school programming. We have many different things there, from tutoring, mentoring. We have a job skills program teaching kids carpentry and motor mechanics and 3D printing and t-shirt printing, and we're about to launch a coffee business, and so all these different things. And Shelby, you then step into that educational side of things. Tell us a bit about what you do with the students and some of the stories of just what you've seen with students just coming alive. If you could share a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, that was something from the beginning. So I've been with Dream Center since about, I think, 2019. So it would have been earlier last year. So when I talked to Sherry and I said, I want to get involved with Dream Center, but I definitely want it to be in the educational component of sorts. And she said, not a problem. We can get you squared away. We're going to do your trainings. We'll be good to go. So I just remember the first time I walked into the cafeteria area, everybody was getting their snack, and I was kind of nervous, which does not happen typically. But I see all of these kids, and I just remember going, oh my goodness, okay, this is real. A lot of kids here. I don't know what they're expecting from me. I don't really know fully what to expect, but either way, we're going to learn from each other. So from that day on, just engaging. I think that was really the big thing that I've taken away from them and they've taken away from me. And with that engagement, building trust, building bonds so that we can move forward, not just tutoring them in math or English or Spanish or biology. Who knows? I never even thought I would have picked up biology since I left it back in high school. But to go from beyond that, sitting down with them and doing the tutoring component, to being someone that they can confide in, where they may be going through different situations at home or experiencing different things at school where they don't feel like they have people to talk to. And for me, it's so heartbreaking to hear. Being in the news, of course, you hear some of the worst case scenarios of kids that are going through things I never could have imagined. Other people older than me never could have imagined as well. So to be able to be someone where you go, look, I know you're going through a lot right now. We're in this season of your life. You may be experiencing some very troublesome times. I'm here for you. We have resources. Whenever you feel like you don't have someone to talk to in other spheres, you can always come to me. Or if you can't come to me, I can always point you to someone else. So in that mentorship, I think that really holds a lot of weight. In the tutoring realm, in the educational realm, I can't think of a specific story, but I will say every time that a student learns a new concept or they might be struggling in that algebra. I was one of those students. I just remember sitting in the class. I couldn't function in the way the teacher, maybe the pace was a little bit too fast, or I felt like nobody was listening to me when I had questions. When those students come into our little conference room and they pull out their homework and they go, Miss Shelby, my teacher was going on and she was sharing these things about science or math or history or language, and I just didn't get it. I just didn't understand. Help me one way or another. And I always tell some of the students that if I can't help you, I can find someone that can help you. So we're working through it together, and they just light up every time they understand a new concept, or they come back the next week and they go, oh my goodness, Miss Shelby, I got a B+ on that math. And before I was getting D's, straight D's, or I didn't understand this component of science, but the way you animated how cells work and the function of the body and being able to see those visual components. They said, I got it. So I was doing my test and I remember the dance that you did or the weird song that you sang. Anything to get them to remember the homework or different things to practice. And when they come back and they share that they understood that just, it warms my soul, and it makes me go, okay, it's making a difference in at least one person's life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, and I've shared this many times, for some students, it's just someone showing up.
Mm-hmm.
We can have all the answers in the world on whether it's education or practical or sports or whatever. But for the majority of our kids, it's just seeing someone showing up and being consistent with it. And I thank you for doing that, because it can get overwhelming when you start to really hear some of the stories of where the kids are coming from and what they're going through. And, I've shared with many people sometimes that we get students that may be 9, 10, 11, 12, but they've already stopped dreaming because they've been so knocked down and been told you'll never get out of this area that you live. You'll never get anywhere because you go to this certain high school, or you'll never do this. And so they just stop dreaming. And so to come to the Dream Center where we can spark a bit of purpose into students, that spark sometimes starts with another volunteer, another person who is there with the students to be able to just say, come on, we can do this. We can learn it through a crazy dance, whatever
Exactly.
it takes. One of the questions, and I've asked this question a lot on some of the other podcasts, but it's okay, because I think sometimes with nonprofits, there's a lot of myths, there's a lot of preconceived ideas of volunteering at a nonprofit. It doesn't just have to be the Dream Center, it could be anywhere, that put people off from even getting to the door of the Dream Center or a nonprofit, whether it's they may have heard, well, there's homeless people there, or it's dangerous, or it's they have to lock everything up, which we don't, but they have to do all this stuff. We have security guards at night, and there's this whole tension of nonprofits that we actually do that more to protect our guests than anything. If you were talking or with someone with regards to thinking about volunteering, what would you encourage them in a way to volunteer?
I think keeping the end goal in sight. I think Dream Center Peoria has really established these fundamental values of caring for the community in a non-judgmental way. We all need help. At some point or another, we may need different variations of help, but we all can use a helping hand at some point or another. So for people that might have questions or concerns or things like that, the staff is wonderful. I mean, anytime there is a question, I know I can go to Sherry or I can go to anybody else, Robbie Chris or JoJo Winters or anybody else that's on the staff, to ask them about how to navigate things in a realm where it's open, it's free. We're coming together under the umbrella of helping other people that are living in our community. They are our neighbors, they are our brothers, they are our sisters, and turning them away just because they may be in a different way of life or they may be struggling in different avenues, it doesn't help. We can complain as much as we want about the community that we live in and see these struggles, and you can either be a part of the problem or you can be a part of the solution. So for anyone that might, have those questions, I would encourage you to reach out. And I think something that's really was helpful for me when I approached Sherry about volunteering was, the commitment is really up to you as long as it's consistent. Yeah. So the ask for me was not to be there every day from 3 o'clock until 7 p.m. in order to, tutor and feed and be a part of the trades program and things like that. It was, look, we're asking for consistency, but what that looks like is really your call. We don't want to overwork you. We know you have certain skills. We know you have certain gifts, and we want to be able to utilize them, but we don't want to burn you out. So for other volunteers or prospective volunteers, know what it is you're interested in or what avenues that you really are excited about helping. And they can work with you. Maybe you like the working better with older kids. Maybe you work better with younger kids, or maybe you're kind of an influx. There is something for you to do. All hands can be utilized and put to work. And Andy, to your point, just about the showing up, that is really what the kids care about. They don't, know if you were an A+ student in biology or not, and that was not me, quite frankly. But they know that when they see you, you're there to help them one way or another. Maybe it's in their academic life, their educational life, their as a counselor, as someone they can just talk to, someone just to be able to offer some fun. Your services can be utilized, and your services are appreciated.
Good. That's good. Sherry, why don't you tell the folks how easy it is to get involved at the Dream Center?
Sure. And Shelby speaks to a good point. I think when Shelby started at Dream Center, she was every other week. She was coming in. And I said, that's fine as long as you're consistent. So if you don't have an hour a week, you don't have to give an hour a week. It's whatever will work for your schedule. And that's with the kids. But we have plenty of other opportunities. We have people that volunteer once a month. We have volunteers that come in twice a week. So it just depends on what works with your schedule and your life, what season you're in your life. But the easiest way to volunteer is to go to the website, dreamcenterpeoria.org, and then click the Get Involved, Volunteer here. You just have to fill out a little bit of information, and then we'll send you all the forms, everything you need. Then you'll meet with me one-on-one, and then we'll figure out the best place to get the person started. And like Shelby said too, even as outgoing as she was a little, uncertain when she came in, but I will be there with you. I will hold your hand. I will do whatever you need to get you plugged in. So we really do appreciate you, Shelby. You're a great encourager.
Oh, I appreciate you guys so much. I really do.
And also, just to follow on what Sherry said there, if you've got a group, now I know we can't do this right now during the pandemic, but if you've got a group, maybe a small group at a church or a group at work or even a bigger group. I mean, we've had, hundreds of realtors that would come and do a day project. Sherry is the person that you would contact. So if you're the main contact person for the group, go ahead and fill that form out and send it to Sherry. We're not going to interview everyone if there's a group of 20 or 30 coming. That's we do it a little bit different there. But if you're obviously working with kids, there's going to be background checks done and things like that. But if you've got a bigger group, go through Sherry through the website again, and then we can go from there to get you plugged in. Shelby, I just want to thank you for what you've been doing, what you're going to do. We love having you on our team, and we know that as you keep consistent with the kids, you're going to see even more of those rewards. And I know you see small things already, but as you see kids grow and the consistency happens, that's where I know your cup will overflow, so to speak.
Well, I so appreciate it, and just you guys having me here, but I even more so, you guys are the unsung heroes that are juggling a lot of different hats, but it is making such a world of difference in the community. And when people say, where are you volunteering? And the first thing I say is Dream Center Peoria. Eyes light up across this community. And I think that just speaks volumes to all of the foundational tools and hard work and boots on the ground that the entire team is doing. So I thank you guys on behalf of the community for all that you're doing.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you. And we'll just keep trying to find the needs and trying to find the people to fill it. And we'll keep dancing as well as we do it, right?
Absolutely.
Well, if you're listening to the Dream Center podcast, you want to get connected to us, the best way is through the Dream Center website, dreamcenterpeoria.org, and then also follow us on all our social media outlets at Dream Center Peoria. And again, we've always got things happening. Some ministries appear for a need in that specific time, and then it ends. For some, it's the long haul, a bit like Project 309, where we're always looking for people to step in and help tutor and mentor and just be there. So again, get in touch with us. Shelby, thank you again for being a part of this. And Sherry, thank you as well. And again, till next time at the Dream Center podcast, stay connected with us and speak soon.
Thanks again for listening to the Dream Center Peoria podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode. If you know of anyone that would be interested in hearing about what we just talked about, we would encourage you to share this episode with them. Be sure to stay tuned for future episodes. Thanks.